What's up YouTube, it's your boy here, the Hooded Weeaboo, and today I'm making a video on the topic of why Ichigo Kurosaki is stronger than what ScrewAttack believe him to be, and who better to introduce him than the badass himself, Mr. Ichigo Kurosaki.
Ever since the powers of the Soul Reaper were thrust upon me, my whole world has changed. Now I'm Ichigo Kurosaki, substitute Soul Reaper, and I'm combining my powerful spirit energy with this blade in order to protect my friends! Damn you! Take this. Get through!
That is a prime example of why Ichigo is such a badass. He doesn't go around shouting some lame, cringy catchphrase like "I want to be Soul King," like an equivalent to a certain shonen hero's name that I will not mention. I want to make something very clear first. ScrewAttack downplayed both Naruto and Ichigo, but I feel they downplayed Ichigo a lot more, and here's a few reasons why. This is with their own calculations. They said Ichigo is about 319 million miles per hour, right? They calculated that from the Soul Palace feat. But Ichigo was only in Shikai form. That means they didn't add on his, at minimum, 2-time Hollow Boost, which is absolutely bullshit as well, because that was merged with his Quincy side too, so the boost should be a lot more than that. But I'm just going to say 2, for the sake of it. That means Ichigo is twice as fast. 638 miles per hour, just a little bit off the speed of light. Now, if you add on his Bankai multiplier, and Ichigo gets the 10 times multiplier because he's the exception to all the rules in Bleach, so we're going to give it to Ichigo, that puts him up to 6.3 billion miles per hour. That is 9.5 times the speed of light. I find it funny that ScrewAttack presents us with these calculations and don't even give the proper multipliers. Now, I'm going to go on to my own calculations on how fast Ichigo is. The reason I believe Ichigo is much faster than the calculations ScrewAttack provided is simply because if you remember back in the Soul Society arc, in his fight against Byakuya, it was stated he was as fast as lightning. It's a safe bet to assume they mean the return stroke, as the feats he displayed passed the capabilities of the Sound of Thunder that travels at about 1100 feet per second, or about 750 miles per hour, as in comparison to the return stroke, which moves upward at speeds of about 320 million feet per second, or about 220 million miles per hour, about 1/3 of the speed of light. Now we have a starting point of how fast Ichigo is. Next we add the multiplier for his visor powers, which allow him to use a technique known as holification. This is a term used to describe the process by which the strength limit of a soul is increased by removing the boundary between Shinigami and Hollow. I'm not going to calculate all his versions of his masks, so for simplicity reasons let's all ball and say Ichigo gets a 2-time boost from his mask. That puts Bankai Visored Ichigo at 2/3 the speed of light, or around 440 million miles per hour. In the Wake of Mundo arc, Ichigo becomes a berserk form, commonly known as Vasta Lorde. Also, since before I give a multiplier for this form, a lot of people seem to forget that he was exhausted and his energy was depleted to less than half power during this fight with Ukiura. Okay, this might get a bit confusing, just please hang on till the end. Ichigo's Bankai, the clothes he wears, is an indicator of how much power he has at that moment, and he had less than half of it remaining when he curbed Ukiura. So let's say Ukiura in his first release is 2 times stronger than Visored Bankai Ichigo. That puts him at speeds around 880 million miles per hour. So let's give him another 2-time multiplier, which again is probably a massive lowball for Ukiura's second release. That would put him at an estimated 1.7 billion miles per hour, and since Vasta Lorde was at least twice as strong as him, that would put Vasta Lorde Ichigo at around 3.5 billion miles per hour. And remember, he was only at half strength, so that means he gets another 2-time multiplier, making Vasta Lorde Ichigo as fast as 7 billion miles per hour. So conservative multiplier would be around 16 times for his Vasta Lorde form, putting Ichigo 10 times the speed of light. Next is a form Ichigo is knocking around a transcended being in, which is commonly referred to as Dangai Ichigo, and again I'm going to give another massive low ball and say a multiplier of 2, which gives us 14 billion miles per hour. Also, since Mugetsu was the pinnacle of Ichigo's power at this point in the series, we have to at least assume it was another 2-time multiplier. So throwing these numbers into the calculator, we come out with 28 billion miles per hour. I'm going to skip the full-bearing Shikai and Bankai since they don't scale to Ichigo's true power, but I will mention something relevant about a feat displayed during a fight in his full-bearing Bankai later down the video. Now that we've established the foundation for how fast Mugetsu is, and since we know Mugetsu is the equivalent of Ichigo's true Shikai, we can now give Ichigo, at bare minimum, a low ball multiplier of 16, the same as his Vasta Lorde multiplier for his merged hollow form, which is a massive low ball. I'm just going to say for the sake of not causing an argument and being called a Bleach tard for wanking Ichigo, which I'm actually doing the opposite, but it should be noted that Ichigo, after learning the truth about the source of his Shinigami powers and reforged his Zanpakuto, his Hollow and Quincy came into balance with one another, so really Ichigo should be getting a higher multiplier for the boost of his Quincy powers. But anyways, so true Shikai merged hollow form Ichigo should be at least the speed of 450 billion miles per hour, and we still haven't given him the boost for his Bankai, and I'm not going to lowball this as Ichigo is always the exception to Bankai. So Ichigo should get the full multiplier of 10, putting his speed up to an astonishing 4.5 trillion miles per hour. That is 6,718 times the speed of light. Okay, we've established what ScrewAttack's calculation should have actually been, since they didn't add his merged hollow form or Bankai multiplier. Even a monkey could see this total downplay. I have also provided my own calculations, and keep in mind I used low-balled multipliers when calculating Ichigo's speed. Naruto was in his Sage of 6 Paths form, when he showed he could react and dodge a light speed attack, and he showed he could move at lightning speed when he was in his Nine-Tails cloak. So how come base Naruto didn't get completely blitzed and absolutely murdered by true Shikai Ichigo? And this is even proved with their own calculations. I guess they wanted to make it more entertaining, I suppose. They said Naruto had better training, better arsenal and better healing factor. I definitely agree with the two former points, but the latter isn't true when discussing Ichigo's healing factor. Naruto's best healing feat was healing slashes by Haku and a whole Sasuke punched through his shoulder in part 1. Ichigo's regeneration capabilities healed a hole through his chest. He didn't even have a heart during the fight against him and Yukiura. Okay, like I mentioned earlier on, there was a feat I wanted to talk about that Ichigo showed while in his full-bearing Bankai. This took place when Ichigo first encountered Bak, and at the time I scaled Bak to continental level and Ichigo to country level. And this can even be further proved when Ichigo is in his full-bearing Shikai, and the air pressure caused by his swings of his sword are nearly as strong as his old Getsuga Tensho's. Bak also shoved the sword into Ichigo's neck, and this activated his ability called Blood Vein, and this ability saved his life, bringing his durability up from country to continent. Now onto the category that Ichigo got the most fucked over in, his destructive output. They said after all the multipliers Ichigo is weaker than Naruto by a difference of 40 billion megatons. Ichigo had 440 billion and Naruto had 480 billion. They calculated Ichigo's destructive capability from his visor Bankai form, saying that Ichigo can destroy an area up to the size of California. They stated Las Noches is the size of California. After all Ichigo's forms and multipliers, he would be able to destroy 1,000,000 Californians, according to them. They say Naruto's feat that happens on the moon puts him above Ichigo. So let's compare the US state of California to the moon. Here's the USA and the moon, with the outline California. They said Ichigo is supposed to be able to destroy over 1,000,000 times. Now, this is the crater that Naruto created lined with our moon, including what the USA looks like compared to the moon. Ichigo was supposed to be able to destroy 1,000,000 times that, according to their own words. Now the smell of bullshit is literally real shit smacking us in the face. How the fuck can you say Naruto is stronger than Ichigo when you provided your own maths with the calculations proving otherwise? There is no way to put the crater Naruto made anywhere on the level of just California without making the Naruto moon lines larger than our real life moon, which we have no evidence to believe Naruto's universe, his moon, is bigger than our own. Normally I scale characters' durability to how much destructive power they can output. I won't go into calculations now, I'm going to keep that for another video. But if we scale off what ScrewAttack provided, Ichigo should output way more destructive capability than Naruto. So that puts Ichigo's durability already higher in that sense. And also, if Ichigo can use Blood Vein, because there is no indication that Ichigo couldn't use his healing factor or Blood Vein at will at the end of the series. and he was able to finally find balance between his Hollow and Quincy, it's not all that impossible to believe he can. I cannot stress this enough. Remember, these figures I've come up with were created by ScrewAttack's own base calculations with minor tweaks. So again, I emphasize these are not my calculations. Like I mentioned, I will more likely do a follow-up video of how powerful I believe Ichigo is. As I've already shown you how fast I believe him to be, I will probably use the same multipliers as my speed calculations sometime in the near future. So with the evidence ScrewAttack has shown us, Ichigo should have won this death battle by a large margin. Really, ScrewAttack? A stick? A fucking stick, ScrewAttack? Really? This shit's probably going to turn into a meme. The Bleach fandom gets so much disrespect as it is, and has gone through so much heartache, and this is how you make Ichigo go out in his fight? Really, ScrewAttack, what the fuck? Also, ScrewAttack, why would Ichigo go Mugetsu when it's the equivalent to his true Shikai? Why literally his true Bankai merged hollow form is his absolute peak of power? Why would he swap it for an inferior form? And this brings us to the end of the video. There's a lot more points that I could bring up about ScrewAttack fucking up, but I'll leave that for another day. I worked really hard on this video, so I'd massively appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.